This is the Johnny Cleveland Podcast. All things Cleveland sports with your host, John Suchan. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Yeah, I got music playing all over the place here. This is the Johnny Cleveland Podcast, and we welcome you to the Fanatical Elves Network, part of Fans First Sports Network. I am your host, Johnny Suchan, Johnny Cleveland, and wanted to come visit with everybody before we got further into the week. We had Stirring the Pot with Lou Marconi and myself last night. Steve Gill had his Dog Pound South show. East Bank Sports Show with Noah Olson was on also. And we got shows galore coming up this week. Later, we got Sherry tomorrow night with her Breezy Brown Stock. Rod Bloom with his Browns Blitz. Jarrell will be doing his dog radio program. I think actually he had a show come out right after the game. Sam the man down there in Dallas will be doing his Browns breakdown. So we got lots of shows all the time here on our Fanatical Elves Network, part of Fans First. Just appreciate you guys coming along, watching us here on the X, on YouTube, Facebook, listening to us on Apple, on Spotify. It's truly an honor to do this. We have a lot of fun with it. A lot of the guys write for Fans First, so check out their articles. Lou Marconi's writing an article pretty much every day. Steve Gill does a lot of writing for the programming. I do a few articles a week. Well, not a few, once in a while. So trying to get going on that a little bit more, but yeah, what a week. What a difference in a football team. What a difference a quarterback makes. A tale of two cities, a tale of two football teams. One led by a Deshaun Watson, who everybody under the face of the world, everybody from players on the team, the coaches, to the fan base, pretty much loathed the guy. And we've been playing with fire with him for the last 3 seasons, struggling on and off for a variety of reasons. And every time that we've started other quarterbacks, from PJ Walker, Joe Flacco, a multitude of other guys that have come before him, they've all done relatively well under a Kevin Stefanski play calling system. Now, Stefanski abruptly, in the middle of last week, decided after a 1-6 start to change play calling. He didn't make a big announcement, but it was asked at a press conference, and we all found out that he handed over the reins to Ken Dorsey to start calling plays. Great, I guess, right? I think he was forced to do it. I know there are a lot of you out there, and I know we have colleagues here on the programming who disagree with that. Why would he just give up the play calling? He might as well just quit if he was told that he had to do that. But I don't think Kevin Stefanski, I think he's a really good coach, but I think, he wants to do something for the goodness of the team. And I imagine that somebody above him, maybe the owner, basically said, you need to give up play calling and give it over to Ken Dorsey. So whatever it is, it doesn't matter at this point. I think the bigger thing that we all saw with our eyes in real time was that you had a quarterback, Jameis Winston, former number 1 draft pick, who hadn't started a game since 2022, came in and did some really, really awesome things. He threw completed 27 passes for 334 yards and 3 touchdowns. Just impressive. I believe the stat is that in the last 7 games that have been started by Browns quarterbacks that weren't named Deshaun Watson, that would include 6 by Joe Flacco and 1 by Winston, they threw for over 300 yards. Deshaun Watson never got close to 200 yards. The whole thing with Stefanski just continually saying Watson gave us our best opportunity to win. That was bull crap. And we all knew it. All the fan base knew it. And a lot of analysts and other people that follow the Browns will always say, well, we don't care what the fans say. We don't care what the fans say. I don't care what the fans say. I care what the fans say. That's why we have the Fanatical Elves, because us Browns fans, and I like to say that a lot of Browns fans, I'm not going to say all of them, but a lot of us Browns fans, especially those who've been around and seen this and that, have some talent when it comes to, we're not coaches, but we know what we see. And I think everybody on Sunday immediately saw the difference between the two quarterbacks. I mean, the offense, like this whole thing about play calling, whatever it is. I heard somebody earlier today talking about basically what I'm saying right now is the play calling, which Stefanski was calling Dorsey's plays. I mean, the plays were the plays. It's the players then executing those plays, which they did extraordinarily well. But a key in them doing everything extraordinarily well was that, like Greg Williams, the old coach, he was even mentioning it, that you have players who are being able to execute it because the quarterback was doing the things he was supposed to do in the play. How often did Watson just meander in the backfield, waste time, get sacked? I mean, he was like all the things that just drive you crazy. Winston didn't do that. He was hitting players and targeting them and hitting them when he was supposed to hit them. He was going to the second level and getting the players that were the wide receivers. He hit wide receivers 20 times. With the 27 passes that he completed, 20 of them were to wide receivers. That's good. That's progress. And he was hitting these guys in his progressions in deeper parts of the field. Shout out to Cedric Tillman. Holy cow. What a great game. Almost 100 yards. I think he had 99 yards. Right. As 1 yard shy of 100 yards. But he had 2 touchdowns. Great touchdowns. The last one, spectacular. After Winston, God, Lord, Jim Donovan, thank you, watching over this game. Somehow Hamilton of the Baltimore Ratbirds had basically a pass thrown to him that he bobbled 3 times and should have intercepted it easily, and it dropped to the ground. Next play, Winston drops back, throws a beautiful pass to Cedric Tillman, making a beeline there for the end zone. Wonderful moment. And the Browns then held on for dear life and won the game. Will we see this every week from Winston? I don't know if it's going to look exactly like we saw. I mean, every game is a little bit different, but I think Browns fans automatically, instantaneously now know that this can happen every week. It's such a shame that this front office, this coaching staff were boneheaded and waited forever to make this decision. We should have made this call after week 1 against the Cowboys. Everybody knew what we saw. Deshaun Watson is a shell of himself. I've said this and we're not going to talk about Deshaun because, listen, I know some people, again, Browns fans and others, even on this platform, and the Fanatical Elves will disagree with me, but Watson will never play another down for the Cleveland Browns, ever. And most fans are ecstatic about that. When I go around where I work, there are multiple people that were not rooting for the Browns because of who was quarterbacking the team. And they have told me personally, hey, I'm rooting for the Browns again. Okay. They had principles and they didn't want to follow this team because of what the Browns did. And they made a deal with the devil. I've mentioned this time and time and time again. That what the Browns did was make a deal with the devil. And they have paid and paid and paid for that terrible decision. How they get out of it, I'm not completely sure. But for right now, we got Jameis Winston quarterbacking, and he did a hell of a job. This guy, he's a wild character, right? Drafted number 1. I mean, he's pregame, he's stoic, he's praying to God, he's all these things, and then after the game, he's quoting Eminem, the rap singer up there in Detroit. And then he's doing press conferences after that, and he's making jokes, and he is all over the place. He is totally an A personality. He would be a very interesting guy to talk to because you got to know. I mean, this guy, he plays. I mean, he's playing games. We know that. I mean, you got to see, like, this guy is all about theater and character. I mean, his pregame speeches and giving him in the huddle. I mean, for God's sakes, man, it does make sense. I know I had somebody talk to me about that earlier in the year. Why is this guy, the backup quarterback, the one giving these pumped up speeches to his players? The players responded to him. It's not like everybody, some of you, not everybody, some people will say, oh, well, the offensive line is healthy now and they all got better. Okay, to a degree. I think the whole team was uplifted with Winston being quarterback. They knew that they had an opportunity to win. And when you, as players and athletes, know on a team that you have an opportunity to win on a weekly basis, they're going to put some more time and effort into their efforts. I mean, it just makes total sense. And, it's not like magically, they got better, but there's a lot into that more than just, the health of Wyatt Teller. Yeah, it was great to have Wyatt Teller, but, there's a lot of the rest of the line were the same guys. Juwan Jones playing over at left tackle now, okay. Juwan Jones played that position at Ohio State. Very comfortable, very good position. We did not have a Jedrick Wills out there. I mean, those are some subtle things, and I'm not going to diss all that. But the biggest, and you and I both should know this. If you're honest with yourselves, you see what I'm talking about. That it's just a huge difference. Now, Stefanski, with his abilities, I don't know. Some of you will say, oh, it's going to be much better now, and he was just so bad play caller. No, I just think he wasn't executing it. And who knows? Maybe Lou Marconi, or my colleague, he mentioned that he had this theory that, well, maybe Stefanski did this all on purpose because he knew that the line was not healthy. And so he decided that he would take the heat. And then when everything changed, I mean, Lord knows they didn't know what was going to happen to Winston. But I mean, Watson does have a track record. I mean, you can go back and look for yourself. Watson had a track record of getting injured many times over the course of his career, right about this time of the year, week 6, 7, 8. And that's why I made that, we had a friendly wager between Noah, my colleague with the East Bank show, that, I pretty much felt pretty strongly that Watson at some point in this season would be done. We saw it last year. So I'm not going to probably see Watson ever again in a Browns uniform, and so be it. Lots to look forward to, though, with this team. They're 2-6, doing a lot of great things. And, can they continue that against the Chargers? Their defense has been strong. JOK got injured pretty severely. Hopefully he will be okay. Sounds like he was released from the hospital. But the Browns just have a lot of good things going for them. Now, I was listening to some people talking about the trade deadline. What are the Browns going to do? I heard these guys in 92.3, they were all arguing about, should Andrew Berry, let's say they're 3-6, should they win this game against San Diego or the Chargers? Should they trade some of their big players like Zadarius Smith or maybe Greg Newsome? I'd be fine with them getting rid of Greg Newsome. I think most of the Browns fans would be happy with him dancing his way out of Cleveland. Do the Browns trade? Or somebody was even saying on 92.3, like they should trade Winston right now. They could get a better draft pick. And I'm like, just stop. Like they were saying, the one guy, Ken Carman, was saying, just stop. I mean, right now we're 3-6. Keep playing well. But some of these other players like Greg Newsome, maybe Smith, maybe they do get traded at the trade deadline. I think it's a week from today. I know it's a week from now, but exactly what time, but it's coming up. Let me have a sip of my Diet Coke here. Let's go ahead and pause for a very brief commercial here. Let me get my music here and pause here, maybe. Okay, this is the Johnny Cleveland Podcast. We'll be right back. Hey, we're back here on the Johnny Cleveland Podcast. It's a Tuesday night. We're just talking Browns right now. Trade deadline coming up next week. Browns play the Chargers on Sunday. They got a big win. Now they're still 2-6. They got a lot of work to do. But They have good momentum. They got another home game. We will be there. I will be down there on the field. Well, not on the field. I wish I were on the field. But looking forward to that game, dealing with the midges. I'm sure the warm weather has come back to Ohio, and so I heard the midges were everywhere last game last week. So I'm sure we're going to see many of those. Look forward to that. Not. Browns, got some work they got to do here, but a lot of good momentum. We're on to, like I said, play the Chargers. After that, we have a bye week. Okay, and then after that, the Browns come back, or they go on the road, and then they play the New Orleans Saints, and then they have a home game on a Thursday night against the Pittsburgh Squealers. Yeah, that was Pittsburgh Squealers that are 6-2. Yeah, they're 6-2. I don't give a hoot. Then people are talking about, oh, how good is this Squealer team? They're not. They're 6-2. I don't care if they're 13-0. They're the Squealers, and we can beat them like we've beaten them before in recent history a couple times. Why not we just beat them at home, and then we'll beat them on the road? Not a problem. I don't think this Browns team will have a problem, to be very quite honest with you. The fact we have a new quarterback and we have a good defense, I think there's a lot of momentum that's going to shift our way. I think this team, like we did with Flacco, it's going to spur some real excitement as Browns fans. If they can win next week, they're 3-6 going into that bye. I know it looks still kind of dreary, but then they're going to play a New Orleans team that's struggling, playing Pittsburgh. They could be 5-6 then after they beat the Squealers. And then who knows, right? I don't know who they got after the Squealers, but let me see if I have my phone. Do I have my phone anywhere? I don't know what happened to my phone. Oh, the phone's over there. All right. So I want to give a shout out too, just real quick, to the Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers are 4-0. Yep. They beat the New York Knickerbockers last night. They were down 72-59 late in that third quarter and stormed all the way back and beat them 110-104. Congratulations to the Cavs. Just a great, the team, Kenny Atkinson, the coach. I knew going into this season, just knowing a little bit about his background and what he would do offensively, that they would really do some really great things. They have the core. Many of you were just, you're all summer long, you were pissed off because, the Cavs didn't do this, or they didn't do that, they didn't trade for this guy, or they didn't do this. I'm like, dude, you guys want to just shut up? Just shut up, right? I mean, the Cavs have a very good team, and they can take this team and win an NBA title, guaranteed. If these guys all play to their potential, they are one of the most talented teams in all of the NBA. My man, Dean Wade, has gotten off to a really good start. He didn't score a lot of points, but again, pay attention to when these guys are being played and in what opportunities they have. Good coaches like Kenny Atkinson had, starting Dean Wade, and he finished the game. Who the coach uses to finish games usually will give you a lot of insight on, especially in a close game, because he knows a player like Wade is a very good defender and has a high basketball IQ. Needs to be out there on the floor. Can't say enough about Darius Garland. You guys who are bashing Darius Garland all the time, right? Just stop. Darius Garland is an amazing player. Kenny Atkinson loves this kid, has seen him since he was a youngster. Can't say enough about Donovan Mitchell. Evan Mobley is just coming into him, working on his own game. And Jared Allen doesn't get nearly enough credit for all the shit that he, pardon my French, that he has to put up with. The whole thing, the shenanigans at the end of last year with his rib injury, and some of you being very obnoxious about it and saying that he needed to play through it. Even his JB Bickerstaff, his idiot coach, throwing him under the bus. That was the last straw for me. I mean, that JB should have been released as a coach 2 years ago by the Cavs. I'll give him some credit for getting this team playing better defense and whatnot, but he couldn't take this team to the next level. Kenny Atkinson can do that, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he'll do in his future. Shout out to Hope College. That's right. I'm wearing a Hope College t-shirt. We had a college blitz over at our high school that I work at, and we were encouraged to wear our college gear. So I graduated from Hope College. My son, Alec, who lives up in Grand Rapids, he went to Hope College. home of the Flying Dutchman. Fun times today. If you're watching or listening, I do also give a shout out if you're listening to the our crew here at our high school. Great group of guys that work at our building, and this is we have a fantasy football league group, including let's see, we got everybody. I'll just give you a shout out because if I give you all the names, I'd be here all day long. But great group, and hopefully they tune in to the podcast. And if you do, thank you for listening. Again, you can listen to us on Spotify, on Apple, anywhere that you listen to your podcast. We'll be back later this week. We've got shows tomorrow with the Breezy Browns talk with Sherry. Thursday, we'll have the Fanatical Elves show. Burning Browns River talk there with Lou. He'll have that show on. I know he was giving a short story yesterday on our Stirring the Pot. He ran into the guys who do the Bearded Browns podcast. Shout out to them. They do a great job over there. I think Lou ran into them. They were tailgating Sunday before the game. So it's nice when you meet fellow podcasters. Yeah. So I was going to I'll give you all the names. Okay, the shout out. Here we go for the guys in the Fantasy League. I know I paused there for a moment, but Tyler, congratulations. I said your name. Kellen, Coach Walland, out there, Bobby Jewell, good job. Carrie, who am I missing? Joe, David, Troy, me, of course. Shout out to me. Why not? Zach, over there. I'm going to forget somebody. Dodier. Yeah. Man, they're going to kill me. Tom, if I can't, let's see who else am I forgetting? I'm going to forget somebody, and they're going to call me out when I'm at school the next day. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. You guys do, just supporting this programming. We'll talk to you next time. Go Browns. This is the Johnny Cleveland podcast. Oh, I almost forgot. Remember when you, just remember to keep smiling. See you guys. Go Browns.